Ladies and gentlemen, there's something astonishingly profound about the notion of being anointed. It's not just a metaphor for talent or potential. It's a deeply spiritual reality that ties you to a purpose beyond yourself. Those who are anointed carry a burden that most cannot fathom, one that demands they walk a path fraught with trials and temptations. But here's the paradox: these burdens are not a curse. They are the evidence of something extraordinary taking root within you. The concept of being anointed, of being chosen, carries with it a profound and often overwhelming sense of responsibility. To see the signs that you are dangerously anointed by God is to face a reality that demands transformation, discipline, and a willingness to shoulder burdens that most people would shrink from. It's not a path for the faint of heart, nor is it one paved with comfort or ease. Being anointed means you are marked for something greater, something transcendent, and that mark comes with its own set of trials. It's as though the universe conspires to refine you, to test the limits of your endurance and character, because the role you are destined to play requires nothing less than the best version of yourself. When you find yourself set apart, misunderstood, or even ridiculed, it's easy to feel like the world is against you, and in some ways it is. Society often doesn't know what to do with people who carry the weight of an extraordinary purpose. Those who are anointed are often perceived as threats because they challenge the status quo. They make people uncomfortable simply by existing, because their presence shines a light on mediocrity, complacency, and superficiality. If you see these signs, you have to understand that this resistance isn't personal, it's a natural reaction to the disruption you bring to the established order. This isn't to say that being anointed is a justification for arrogance or self-righteousness. On the contrary, it's a call to humility. To be dangerously anointed by God is to realize that your life is no longer your own. It belongs to a higher purpose, a divine will that demands your obedience and submission. This doesn't mean you lose your individuality. Rather, it means your individuality becomes a tool for something far greater. It's a paradox. The more you surrender to this calling, the more you discover who you truly are. One of the signs of being dangerously anointed is the presence of adversity. People often think that anointing should bring blessings and ease, but the opposite is often true. If you look at the lives of those who have been truly anointed, you'll see a pattern of suffering, betrayal, and hardship. These trials are not random. They are the crucible in which your character is forged. They strip away your illusions, force you to confront your weaknesses, and compel you to develop strengths you didn't know you had. Adversity is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a confirmation that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Another sign is the sense of isolation that often accompanies anointing. This isn't the same as loneliness, though the two can feel similar. Isolation is about being set apart, about being called to a path that few can understand or walk with you. This can be deeply painful, especially if you crave connection and community. But it's also necessary. In those moments of solitude, you are forced to rely on something beyond yourself. You come to realize that your strength doesn't come from the approval or support of others. It comes from within, from the divine source that anointed you in the first place. The presence of unusual insight or wisdom is another hallmark of anointing. You may find yourself seeing things that others don't, understanding truths that elude those around you. This can be both a blessing and a burden. On one hand, it allows you to navigate life with a clarity and purpose that others lack. On the other hand, it can make you feel like an outsider, like you're speaking a language no one else understands. This is why discernment is so critical. Not every truth needs to be spoken, and not every battle needs to be fought. Part of being anointed is knowing when to act and when to remain still, when to speak and when to stay silent. The final sign is the undeniable pull toward service. Being anointed is never about you. It's about what you can do for others. It's about using your gifts, your insights, and your experiences to make a difference in the lives of those around you. This doesn't mean you have to save the world, but it does mean you have a responsibility to contribute in a meaningful way. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your personal journey, your life is meant to be a testament to the power of transformation and redemption. This journey is not an easy one, but it is profoundly rewarding. To be dangerously anointed by God is to live a life of meaning, purpose, and impact. It's to wake up every day knowing that your existence matters, that you are part of a story far greater than yourself. It's to face challenges with courage, to embrace growth with humility, and to serve others with love and compassion. If you see these signs, don't run from them. Embrace them. They are the evidence of your anointing, the proof that you are being prepared for something extraordinary. This is not a burden, it's a gift. And it's one that has the power to change not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. To recognize the signs of divine anointing is to step into a reality that challenges your understanding of yourself and the world. One of the most profound and unsettling of these signs is the experience of inner conflict and heightened self-awareness. This isn't the kind of conflict that arises from petty disagreements or misunderstandings with others. No, it's a battle within your own soul, a wrestling match between who you are and who you are meant to become. It's a tension that refuses to let you settle for mediocrity or comfort. It's the divine whisper that says, you are more than this, even when you're tempted to believe otherwise. This internal struggle often begins subtly. You start to notice patterns in your life that no longer make sense, behaviors that seem incongruent with your deeper values. Perhaps you find yourself dissatisfied with things that used to bring you joy, or questioning beliefs that you once held without doubt. This isn't mere dissatisfaction or boredom, it's the beginning of transformation. It's as though your soul is being awakened to a higher calling, and that awakening brings with it a sense of urgency. You feel a push to grow, to change, to shed the parts of yourself that no longer serve you. But growth is not a straightforward path. It's messy, painful, and often terrifying. When you're anointed, you're not given a map or a set of clear instructions. Instead, you're thrown into the chaos of life and expected to navigate it with courage and faith. This chaos is not a punishment. It's a necessary part of the process. It's what forces you to confront your fears, to question your assumptions, and to discover the strength and resilience you didn't know you had. It's in the midst of this chaos that you begin to realize that your struggles are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth. The heightened self-awareness that comes with anointing is both a gift and a burden. It's a gift because it allows you to see yourself clearly, to understand your strengths and weaknesses, your motivations and fears. But it's also a burden because it forces you to take responsibility for your life. You can no longer blame others for your problems or hide behind excuses. You are faced with the uncomfortable truth that your life is a reflection of your choices. And if you want to change your life, you have to change yourself. This level of self-awareness can be isolating. It's difficult to explain to others what you're going through because most people are not used to this kind of introspection. They may dismiss your struggles as overthinking or tell you to just let things go. But when you're anointed, you can't just let things go. You can't ignore the voice inside you that demands growth and transformation. That voice is relentless, and it won't allow you to settle for less than what you are capable of. As you wrestle with your inner conflict, you begin to notice another sign of anointing, a sense of direction that defies logic. It's not that you have all the answers or a clear plan for the future, far from it. But you start to feel a pull towards something greater, something that feels right, even if it doesn't make sense on paper. This pull is not always comfortable. In fact, it often leads you to make choices that are difficult or unpopular. But deep down, you know that these choices are necessary. They are part of your journey, part of the process of becoming who you are meant to be. This sense of direction is accompanied by a heightened sense of responsibility. You begin to realize that your life is not just about you. Your actions, your choices, your growth, they all have an impact on the people around you. This can be overwhelming at times. The weight of responsibility can feel crushing, especially when you're already struggling with your own challenges. But it's also empowering. It gives your life meaning and purpose. It reminds you that your struggles are not in vain, that they are part of a larger story that is unfolding. One of the most challenging aspects of this journey is the need to let go of the past. When you're anointed, you can't move forward if you're clinging to old habits, old beliefs, or old relationships that no longer serve you. Letting go is not easy. It's painful and often feels like a loss, but it's also liberating. It creates space for new growth, new opportunities, and new connections. It allows you to step into the future with open hands and an open heart. As you navigate this journey, you begin to realize that the signs of anointing are not just challenges. They are gifts. They are the tools you need to become the person you were created to be. They teach you resilience, courage, and humility. They force you to confront your fears and embrace your strengths. They remind you that you are not alone, that you are part of something greater than yourself. This process is not easy, but it is worth it. It is a journey of transformation, a journey that takes you from who you are to who you are meant to be. And as you embrace this journey, you begin to see the beauty in the struggle, the purpose in the pain, and the power in the growth. You begin to understand that being dangerously anointed is not a curse. It's a blessing. It's a call to greatness, a call to live a life of meaning, purpose, and impact. And as you answer that call, you realize that you are not just changing your own life, you are changing the world. The realization that you are dangerously anointed comes with a profound sense of responsibility and an equally profound weight. It is not a title you claim. It is an experience that unfolds through the trials of your life, shaping you in ways you could never have predicted. When you see the signs, the first reaction is often one of doubt. You question why this calling has come to you, why this mantle of influence and purpose seems to rest on your shoulders. But the very fact that you ask these questions is one of the clearest indications of your anointing. The weight of responsibility is never borne lightly by those who are called to make a difference. One of the most striking signs of being dangerously anointed is the intensity of opposition that arises in your life. It is almost as though the moment you step into your purpose, forces conspire to test your resolve, to push back against your growth, to challenge your courage. This is not a coincidence. It is a sign that you are on a path that matters. Opposition is the shadow cast by significance. When you matter, when what you do matters, resistance becomes inevitable. The world does not easily accommodate those who seek to change it. It pushes back, and in that pushing, it forges strength. This opposition often comes from the most unexpected places. People you thought would support you may turn away. Circumstances you believed were secure may crumble. Even your own mind may become a battlefield, as doubts and fears rise up to confront you. But every time you face these challenges, you have a choice. You can retreat or you can rise. And in rising, you prove to yourself, to the world, that your anointing is not a fragile thing. It is resilient, unyielding, and fiercely determined. Another unmistakable sign is the deep and abiding sense of purpose that begins to take root in your heart. This is not a fleeting feeling or a passing interest. It is a fire that burns within you, a conviction that your life is meant to contribute something unique and valuable. This purpose is not always clear at first. It often begins as a sense of restlessness, a feeling that there is something more you are meant to do, something greater you are meant to be. Over time, as you lean into this restlessness, you begin to discern the outlines of your calling. It is as though the pieces of your life start to come together in a way that reveals a greater picture, a picture of who you are and what you are here to accomplish. This sense of purpose is both exhilarating and terrifying. It demands that you step out of your comfort zone, that you take risks, that you face the possibility of failure. but it also offers a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can provide. When you are aligned with your purpose, every struggle, every setback, every moment of doubt becomes a stepping stone on the path to something greater. It transforms even the most difficult experiences into opportunities for growth and learning. As you walk this path, you will also notice that your perspective begins to shift. You start to see the world through a lens of possibility and potential. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable now appear as opportunities for innovation and creativity. Setbacks that once felt like failures now feel like lessons in resilience and perseverance. This shift in perspective is one of the most empowering aspects of being anointed. It allows you to navigate life with a sense of hope and determination, knowing that every experience, no matter how difficult, is part of a larger story. This transformation is not just about what you do, it is about who you become. Anointing is not a task, it is a process of becoming. It is about shedding the limitations of your past, stepping into the fullness of your potential, and embracing the person you were created to be. This process is not easy, but it is deeply rewarding. It requires courage, humility, and a willingness to confront your own fears and insecurities. But as you embrace this process, you begin to discover strengths and abilities you never knew you had. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of circumstances, but as a creator of possibilities. One of the most profound realizations that comes with this journey is the understanding that your anointing is not just for you, it is for others. The gifts, talents, and opportunities you have been given are not meant to be hoarded or hidden. They are meant to be shared, to make a difference in the lives of those around you. This is both a privilege and a responsibility. It reminds you that your life is part of a larger story, a story that is not just about you, but about the impact you can have on the world. This realization brings with it a sense of accountability. When you are anointed, you are not free to live a life of mediocrity or complacency. You are called to rise above, to strive for excellence, to use your gifts to make a difference. This accountability is not a burden, it is a gift. It gives your life meaning and purpose, a sense of direction and focus that many people spend their entire lives searching for. As you navigate this journey, you will face moments of doubt and fear. There will be times when you question whether you are strong enough, wise enough, or capable enough to fulfill your calling. But in those moments, remember this: you are not alone. The very fact that you are anointed means that you have been equipped with everything you need to succeed. The strength, wisdom, and courage you need are already within you, waiting to be uncovered and unleashed. This journey is not easy, but it is worth it. It is a journey of transformation, a journey that takes you from who you are to who you are meant to be. And as you embrace this journey, you begin to see the beauty in the struggle, the purpose in the pain, and the power in the growth. You begin to understand that being dangerously anointed is not a curse. It is a blessing. It is a call to greatness, a call to live a life of meaning, purpose, and impact. And as you answer that call, you realize that you are not just changing your own life, you are changing the world. The idea of being dangerously anointed by God is not just a mystical concept. It's a profound reality for those who feel a relentless pull towards something greater than themselves. When you experience the signs of this anointing, it's as if the world shifts and every aspect of your life takes on a deeper, more resonant meaning. But this is no light burden. It is a weighty responsibility, one that calls for self-awareness, courage, and an unrelenting commitment to growth. One of the first and most powerful signs of this anointing is the resistance you face. And I don't mean just external obstacles, though those are often present in abundance. It's the internal struggle, the battle within your own mind, that often feels most daunting. You find yourself questioning your worth, doubting your abilities, and wondering whether the vision you carry is simply a figment of your imagination. But these doubts are not signs of weakness, they are signs of importance. They arise because what you are tasked with is significant. No one attacks mediocrity. The resistance you feel, internally and externally, is proof that you are treading on meaningful ground. And then there is the isolation. It's a peculiar phenomenon, but those who are anointed often find themselves set apart. This doesn't mean you're entirely alone, but there's a sense of separateness that's hard to articulate. You see the world differently, and because of this, you often feel misunderstood. People may question your motives, dismiss your insights, or outright oppose your direction. But understand this: isolation is not rejection, it is preparation. When you are called to something extraordinary, there is a season of solitude that refines and strengthens you. It forces you to confront your fears, clarify your purpose, and cultivate the inner fortitude required to carry the weight of your anointing. Another unmistakable sign is the relentless sense of purpose that wells up within you. It's not always clear or easily articulated, but it's there, this burning conviction that your life is meant for something more. This sense of purpose acts like a compass, guiding you through the confusion and chaos of life. It's not about knowing every step of the journey. It's about trusting that the next step will be revealed when the time is right. This trust requires faith in yourself, faith in your calling, and faith in the process. And it's this faith that keeps you moving forward, even when the path ahead seems uncertain or treacherous. With purpose comes responsibility. And this is perhaps the heaviest aspect of being anointed. You realize that your life is not just about you. The gifts, talents, and opportunities you've been given are meant to serve a greater good. This realization is both liberating and daunting. On one hand, it gives your life profound meaning and direction. On the other, it places a tremendous burden on your shoulders. But here's the paradox. It is in embracing this burden that you find freedom. When you accept the responsibility of your anointing, you free yourself from the trivial concerns that consume so many others. You are no longer driven by ego or ambition. You are driven by purpose. This sense of responsibility extends to your relationships. When you are anointed, the way you interact with others changes. You become more intentional, more empathetic, and more discerning. You recognize that every interaction is an opportunity to make an impact, to plant a seed of hope or wisdom that might one day bear fruit. But this also means setting boundaries. Not everyone will understand your journey, and not everyone deserves access to your energy or time. Being anointed means knowing when to give and when to step back, when to speak and when to remain silent. As you navigate this path, you'll notice that your challenges often mirror your strengths. This is no coincidence. The areas of your life where you face the greatest struggles are often the very areas where you are meant to shine. These challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth. They force you to dig deeper, to uncover reserves of strength and resilience you didn't know you had. And as you overcome these challenges, you not only grow stronger, you inspire others to do the same. But being anointed is not just about struggle and growth. It's also about joy. There's a deep, abiding joy that comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with your purpose. This joy is not dependent on external circumstances. It is rooted in the knowledge that your life matters, that your efforts are making a difference, and that you are part of something far greater than yourself. This joy sustains you in the difficult moments and fuels you in the moments of triumph. It reminds you that even in the midst of struggle, there is beauty and meaning to be found. And let's not forget humility. Being anointed is not about elevating yourself above others. It's about serving others. It's about using your gifts to uplift, inspire, and empower those around you. This requires humility, a recognition that your gifts are not of your own making, that they are entrusted to you for a purpose. This humility keeps you grounded, reminding you that while your anointing is extraordinary, it is not about you. It is about the impact you are meant to make. Being dangerously anointed is about transformation, both your own and the world's. It's about becoming the person you were created to be, and in doing so, helping others become who they were created to be. It's about embracing the challenges, the responsibilities, and the joys of your journey, knowing that every step you take is part of a greater story. And as you walk this path, you begin to realize that the anointing is not just something you carry, it is something that carries you. It lifts you, sustains you, and propels you forward, reminding you that you are not alone, that your life has meaning, and that your purpose is worth pursuing with everything you have. To live with the signs of a dangerous anointing is to grapple with a reality that is both deeply empowering and profoundly challenging. It is not a gift that you simply accept. It is a calling that demands everything you have. The world will not always understand what it means to carry this weight, and often neither will you. But that is the nature of such a calling. It is vast, mysterious, and utterly transformative. It takes hold of you in ways that defy logic, propelling you toward a destiny that feels simultaneously inevitable and impossible. And the signs? They are not merely indicators, they are thresholds, moments when you must decide whether to embrace or resist the path set before you. One of the clearest signs of anointing is the profound discomfort you feel when you stray from your purpose. This discomfort is not the ordinary unease of missteps or mistakes. It is a gnawing, relentless awareness that you are living beneath your potential. It whispers to you in quiet moments and roars at you in times of crisis, reminding you that there is more to your existence than what you currently embody. This discomfort is not your enemy. It is your guide. It pushes you to confront the lies you tell yourself, to dismantle the false narratives that keep you small and stagnant. It forces you to recognize that mediocrity is a betrayal not just of yourself, but of the gifts you've been entrusted with. Another unmistakable sign is the clarity that emerges in moments of stillness. Amid the chaos and noise of life, there are fleeting moments when everything becomes clear. It might happen in the quiet of the early morning or in the solitude of a long walk. But in these moments, you glimpse the truth of who you are and what you are meant to do. These moments are not accidents, they are revelations. They remind you that the answers you seek are not out there, but within you. The challenge is not to find your purpose, but to quiet the distractions long enough to hear it. And once you hear it, the question becomes, will you listen? Resistance, too, is a hallmark of the anointed. It shows up in countless forms: doubt, fear, criticism, failure, and it tests your resolve at every turn. The resistance is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is confirmation that the path matters. Anything worth doing will be met with opposition, and the greater the calling, the greater the resistance. This is not a punishment, it is preparation. The obstacles you face are not there to defeat you, but to refine you. They force you to develop the strength, resilience, and character necessary to fulfill your purpose. They teach you that victory is not about avoiding struggle, but about persisting through it. Isolation is another sign, one that can feel particularly cruel. When you are anointed, there will be seasons when you feel profoundly alone. This is not because you are unloved or unworthy, but because your journey is unique. The path you are called to walk cannot be walked by anyone else. This isolation is not a curse. It is an invitation. It invites you to deepen your relationship with yourself, to confront your fears and insecurities, and to discover the strength that lies within you. It reminds you that while others can walk alongside you, they cannot walk for you. There is also a profound sense of urgency that accompanies anointing. It is as though you are acutely aware that time is both precious and fleeting. This urgency is not about rushing or forcing things. It is about recognizing the importance of every moment. It compels you to act, to create, to build, to contribute. It reminds you that your time on this earth is finite and that every choice you make has consequences. This urgency is not meant to overwhelm you, it is meant to awaken you. It calls you to live with intention, to make decisions that align with your values and your purpose. But perhaps the most profound sign of anointing is the transformation it brings. To be anointed is not just to be called, it is to be changed. It is to become someone you never thought you could be, someone stronger, wiser, and more courageous. This transformation is not easy. It requires you to let go of the person you were and embrace the person you are becoming. It asks you to confront your fears, to face your failures, and to embrace your imperfections. But in doing so, it reveals a version of yourself that is more authentic, more powerful, and more alive than you ever imagined. Through all of this, the discomfort, the clarity, the resistance, the isolation, the urgency, and the transformation, you come to realize that being anointed is not about you. It is about the impact you are meant to have on the world. Your gifts, your talents, your calling, they are not yours to hoard, they are yours to share. The anointing is not a reward, it is a responsibility. It is a reminder that your life is not just about what you can achieve, but about what you can contribute. It is an invitation to step into your power, to use your voice, and to make a difference. The signs of anointing are not just markers of who you are, they are indicators of who you are becoming. They remind you that your journey is not about arriving at a destination, but about becoming the person you were created to be. They challenge you to rise above your fears, to embrace your purpose, and to live with courage and conviction. And as you do, you begin to see that the anointing is not just something you carry, it is something that carries you. It propels you forward, it sustains you in times of struggle, and it reminds you that you are part of something greater than yourself. When you see the signs that suggest you are dangerously anointed, it's not something to dismiss lightly or misunderstand as mere coincidence. It is a call to step into a reality that is far larger than yourself, a reality that demands courage, integrity, and responsibility. It's as though you are being asked not just by circumstance, but by something far greater, to bear the weight of a purpose so profound that it shakes the very foundation of who you are. This is not a journey for the faint-hearted. It's a path laden with trials, but it is also rich with meaning, and it demands that you rise to your highest potential. The anointing is never subtle. It comes with disruptions that pierce through the comfortable illusions we build for ourselves. It doesn't ask for permission. It tears through the fabric of normalcy and forces you to confront truths you might have spent years avoiding. You'll find that people react to you differently. Some will be inexplicably drawn to you, sensing a strength or clarity that perhaps even you don't fully recognize. Others will resent you, often without apparent reason, as though your very presence reminds them of their own unfulfilled potential or unresolved fears. This polarity of reactions is a hallmark of someone called to a higher purpose, and it's a sign that you cannot afford to ignore. The intensity of this calling can often feel overwhelming, and there will be moments when you question whether you are up to the task. That's when resistance will make itself known. Resistance manifests as doubt, as fear, as a persistent voice whispering that you are unworthy or incapable. But here's the paradox. The very presence of this resistance is a signal of the importance of your path. The greater the opposition, the more significant the calling. And so, rather than being discouraged by the struggle, you must learn to see it as a refining fire. It is not there to destroy you. It is there to shape you into the person you are meant to become. Another sign of anointing is the sense of isolation that often accompanies it. When you are walking a path that is uniquely yours, there will be times when you feel like no one truly understands what you're going through. This can be a lonely place, but it is also a sacred one. It is in these moments of solitude that you come to know yourself most intimately. You learn to listen to the still, small voice within, to trust your instincts, and to draw strength from a source deeper than anything external. Isolation, as painful as it may feel, is not a punishment. It is an invitation to grow in self-awareness and to forge a connection with the divine that sustains you through every trial. With this anointing comes an urgency that is impossible to ignore. It's as though you sense the weight of time, the fleeting nature of each moment, and the profound responsibility that comes with it. You recognize that every decision you make, every action you take, has ripple effects far beyond what you can see. This urgency is not about rushing or panicking. It is about living with intention, about being fully present in every moment and fully committed to the work you are called to do. It's about understanding that your life is not a series of random events, but a narrative with profound significance, and you are the one who must write it. But perhaps the most telling sign of all is the transformation that takes place within you. The anointing changes you not in an instant, but over time, through every challenge you face and every lesson you learn. It strips away the superficial, the inessential, the false, and reveals a core of strength and authenticity that you might not have known was there. This transformation is not easy. It demands sacrifice, perseverance, and a willingness to confront your own darkness. But as you emerge on the other side, you find yourself stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the purpose that has been calling you all along. This is not a journey you undertake for yourself alone. The anointing is not about personal glory or self-aggrandizement. It is about service. It is about using your gifts, your insights, your experiences to make a difference in the world around you. It is about recognizing that your struggles, your victories, your transformation are not just for you. They are for the countless others who will be impacted by your life. This is the ultimate paradox of anointing. The more you embrace it as a responsibility to others, the more it fulfills you personally. To be dangerously anointed is not to live an easy life, but it is to live a meaningful one. It is to wake up every day with a sense of purpose that transcends your fears and doubts. It is to face resistance, isolation, and urgency with courage and grace. It is to transform, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of a world that desperately needs what only you can offer. This is your calling, and it is time to answer it. To be dangerously anointed is to carry a profound responsibility, one that demands courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. It is not an easy path, but it is one filled with meaning and purpose. The trials you face are not there to break you, but to refine and transform you into the person you are meant to become. Embrace the resistance, honor the isolation, and live with urgency. For your journey is not just about you, it's about the impact you are destined to have on the world. Answer the call, rise to the challenge, and step fully into the purpose that has been placed before you.